right, so more from Woj on Jimmy Butler's first practice. We're like having this conversation basically in real time here. Here's the quote from Woj's reporting. At one point in the scrimmage, sources says, Butler turned to GM Scott Layden and screamed, "You bleeping need me! You can't win without me!" Butler left teammates and coaches largely speechless. He dominated the gym in every way. Jimmy's back, said the source to Woj. All right, gentlemen, so this continues to escalate in real time as we're on the air. Any added thoughts to me?
As I understand it, first of all, shout out to me and Coach, man, because we're like, we can make this real uncomfortable.
Real uncomfortable.
We don't hold down the NBA, we just make things uncomfortable. But as I understand it, that's not just what he did in terms of yelling and cussing people out.
Do you want to give up some more?
I'll give up just this little more.
Okay.
I heard that he took the third stringers and he beat the starters.
Oh! Okay, that's a slap in the starter's face.
But Coach, this is what I'm talking about. When I've talked about this with Dan Levitard on the Dan Levitard show, and I'm trying to explain to them. He's the best player on that team. I get it. Karl Anthony Towns has a cute nickname. I get it. Andrew Wiggins, they were both number one overall picks. He's the best player on that team. If we're talking about impacting wins and losses, this guy does it for that team. With him in the lineup, they were on track to be the number 4 seed in the conference. Without him, they almost missed the playoff.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's real good. And so if you're Jimmy Butler, and let's be clear here, a lot of people are making it out to be he's frustrated with the young guys and entitlement, da-da-da. Sure, that probably plays a part. But what this is really about is this is a guy who wanted to get paid this summer, and the Timberwolves said, "Ooh, I don't know if I got it." Mm-hmm. But they had it to pay Karl Anthony Towns. So from Jimmy Butler's perspective, like, you going to pay him? I'm the one, like the quote said, I'm the one that's...
You need me to believe in win.
You need me to win, and you're not going to pay me? Oh, okay. I'll let you know what it's like. And so to do something like that, not only mother bleep everybody on the court, but think of that. Like, you know what a third stringer look like?
I do. I know a superstar like that playing with a third string unit and being able to beat the first stringers, that's big time. Man, like he said,
that man is a dog.
That man is a pit bull.
When you talk about Jimmy Butler, this is what people don't understand. He wasn't a blue chip recruit.
Right.
He
Second round pick.
Damn near. It was the 30th overall. So last pick of the first round.
Yeah.
But before that, JUCO, right? Went to Marquette. Wasn't even the best player at Marquette, really, because it was Darius Johnson-Odom and it was Jay Crowder and those other guys. So came in, role player, built himself up to what he's at right here. So the idea of anyone feeling entitled, like, to him must be so disgusting.
Yeah.
And especially when you're saying, I don't have money for you. That's what you get right there.
Yeah, he's had to work for everything. I don't think there's any question about that. With all the mother bleeping, though, I feel like him and your old coach, Pat Riley, will fit together perfectly. Right? After all the mother bleeping that's been done from Riley to Tibbs over the last week.
Listen, Jimmy has also criticized coaches for not pushing them harder, not making them work harder.
Right.
You know, he's an old school type guy.
Yeah.
He wants to be pushed. He wants to be challenged.
But isn't Tibbs
That's the sad part.
We know Tibbs. Yeah, Tibbs is kind of like that as well. But we do know Pat Riley's like that.
Yeah.
And we know that he would fit in that type of system. Culture. But like I said it before, you know, him being in practice can be a distraction, can be either a quiet distraction, but it's going to be a distraction. Today, he just said, you know what, I've had it. You didn't pay me when you should have paid me. You wanted to pay this young fella, but you know good and well, like he said, you can't win without me. And I just proved it today in practice. So now, hey, tomorrow's practice, I want to report Woj. Please be there tomorrow, Woj, and report on how practice is tomorrow. I want to hear what practice is tomorrow.
It ain't quiet for sure. This has been an explosion for
Coach.
Or if they practice at all.
Practice might be on South Beach.
All right, well, speaking of Jimmy, the Rockets owner spoke candidly, to say the least, about the ongoing Jimmy Butler negotiations with Houston. Here's Tillman Fertitta, the owner of the Houston Rockets. We'd love to see Jimmy come home to Houston. It's not a financial decision. It's an assets decision on our part. We've got a great basketball team. We think we're as good as anybody in the league. We're not going to give up unreasonable assets to break up this team to get Jimmy Butler. But we would love to have him. So, Amin, I don't know about you, but this smells a lot like tampering, especially if I'm Magic Johnson. I'm not trying to be a narc, you know what I mean? But after what happened on the Jimmy Kimmel show, I'm kind of like, yo, you guys find me $500,000 for what I did, winking to Jimmy Kimmel? What about this dude?
This is quintessential tampering. Like, if you open the book, And say tampering in the dictionary, it's a picture of Tillman Fertitta. That picture we got him doing like this with the microphone.
And by the way, he said this to SB Nation, so I want to make sure that people know he had a conversation with SB Nation.
He said it on the record.
Right.
And not even like, hey, we'd love to have a player like Jimmy. He's talking about how we can add.
Talked about Jimmy.
How to add him without giving up too much. And it's not about the money. Like, you can't. I'm staggered that this is something that only someone who isn't a part of our sport would do. Right? I know he's a new owner.
He's the newbie.
But still, you've been around
a little bit. He's about to be fined pretty heavily. Adam Silver was sitting there like, really? Really? You gonna mention his name? You gonna mention the assets? Really? And now as a fan, I'm sitting there going, man, I like him.
Yeah.
You know, he's saying exactly what he wants, and he wants to go get it. I like him.
But if, let's say he gets fined 500, $1 million, whatever, is it worth it if he gets it?
If he gets
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If he gets him, it is.
It's worth it then. But did he have to do it to get him?
I mean,
you think
Probably not.
deal?
Probably not.
That's fine.
But he did it. So let's see if he gets him.
All right, time for a quick break, but coming up, more on the develop. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe, you never know. The Warriors will take on the Lakers in Las Vegas tonight. So
Planet Fitness, the judgment-free zone.
tonight on ESPN, it's NBA preseason action. Pacers, Bulls at 8 Eastern. Then it's Warriors, Lakers from Vegas. You might have heard LeBron's there. I think Byron mentioned that earlier.
LeBron James in L.A., everybody.
Lonzo Ball will make his preseason debut in that game. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern with Michelle Beadle and company. And everything is live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Welcome back to The Jump. I'm George Sedano, and for our fearless leader, Rachel Nichols, who's on assignment. I'm here with our insider, Amin Al-Hassan, of course, three-time NBA champ, Byron Scott. And, of course, you can't wait to talk about your Lakers, Byron, so here you have it. Anthony Slater of The Athletic wrote a piece yesterday exploring whether LeBron James can inject life into a potential Warriors-Lakers rivalry. Byron, do you expect this rivalry to develop with LeBron in town now?
I really do. I mean, he's had a rivalry with Golden State for the past 4 years, you know, essentially. I mean, and I think Golden State looks at him as a rivalry as well. So him being in Los Angeles, with the culture here in Los Angeles, with the championships that they won, Golden State being the team that they are, I think they are looking at this as some type of rivalry. And for the game tonight, you know, I think that first quarter is going to be exciting to watch because I think both teams are going to play their starters and let them play a little bit and get a taste of how this is going to be during the regular season. And all you fans out there, you better watch ESPN tonight and watch the Lakers against Golden State. I'm just saying, check it out. Check it out. First and third quarter, you don't have to rest it off. Check it out. First and third quarter, you don't have to rest it off.
And halftime.
Shout out to Michelle Beadle. Coach, I know these are your guys.
What you trying to say?
Look, he signed for 4 years.
Right.
At least 3 years with that option.
Right.
There's got a lot of time for them to build up to be in a rivalry.
I agree with you there.
As we stand today, it ain't no rivalry. In the words of Clubber Lang, do you accept the challenge? I do not accept the challenge because it is no challenge. That's where it is right now. It's not even close.
So you're saying that this matchup will be pain?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Like, rivalry with the Warriors, Lakers are trying to make the playoffs, man.
Right.
Like, playoffs? Yeah, you know. So it's a lot of steps before you get to be a rival with the Warriors. But obviously, what Coach said is true. Whenever it's LeBron James versus the Warriors, and we've seen it in the finals for 4 straight years, LeBron James and any 4 dudes against the Warriors is going to capture people's imagination. And I'm not one of those people who says, oh, you got to do it in the playoffs or whatever. Look, if it's something that every time these two people meet, we all tune in and watch, that's a rivalry, man. Knicks-Heat was a rivalry. Bulls-Knicks was a rivalry. These things are all rivalries.
Yeah, it is interesting, though, because it's become more about individuals, right? In regards to these rivalries. Kevin Durant versus Russell Westbrook. Mm-hmm. I still think Lakers-Celtics has some cachet to it, certainly. I think that this, as you pointed out, could become something. Mm-hmm. Hence the question, can it become a rivalry? So the answer to that is...
Not this year.
Okay.
Like become. Not become. Long term.
Stretch that O out a little bit.
I'm going to be quiet.
All right. As I mentioned earlier, Lonzo Ball is slated to make his preseason debut tonight after a minor knee surgery this offseason. So, Amin, what would constitute a successful season for Lonzo?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I thought he had a solid season last year. I think a lot of people made a lot to do about his shooting, which they should have. But he was a guy, kind of like we talked about Jimmy Butler. When he was on the floor, they were a better team, right? they played better. They played faster. They shared the ball more. So his impact was felt from a plus-minus standpoint. But for me, the three-point shooting is one thing. It's the finishing at the rim. Coach, he was bottom 5 in the league at finishing at the rim. He shot less than 48% in the restricted area. That can't be. And I actually got the opportunity to ask him about it. I said, why were you such a bad finisher? And he said, honestly, we watched a lot of film, him and Magic and Coach Walton, and he was shying away. He was shying away from contact and not seeking the contact. And that was making it harder for him because instead of negating the shot blockers, getting in their body
into him,
he's trying to adapt to them and taking harder shots.
Which makes them even more effective because now they go up there, they can block it or alter the shot. And I think with Alonzo this year being in the weight room, that added weight is going to give him that confidence to be able to go to the basket a little bit more aggressive and finish better. But I look at his season last year, and I agree with me. He had a really good season for a rookie with some of the things he had to go through. He plays at a different level when those guys are out there with him. Now you add LeBron and some of the other guys. I think for him, if you look at just from a strictly number standpoint, if he averaged 13, 8, and 8, that's a very successful season because last year at 10, 7, and 7. So that is something that he can definitely do. But then you have to look at the other things. You have to look at the statistics from the field goal percentage shooting, from like you said, from finishing in the basket, 3-point per shooting and free throws and things of that nature.
That was going to be my next point, was the free throw shooting. I mean, he was poor from the line, but also a lot of that is, if he initiates that contact, he will get to the line
much more.
And another thing, coming off a pick and roll, he's a really good passer, but in this league, you have to be aggressive. You got to be aggressively searching for your shot because otherwise they play you for the pass, and that takes away a lot of the options. But again, this guy, he's been watching film with Magic on one side and Rondo on the other
side.
And so, his basketball education is going to be kicked into high gear.
Yeah, he's on a PhD program, basically, at this point. All right, the Lakers have a bunch of cap space next summer, and they'll be looking to add another star to their roster currently. Our Brian Windhorst wrote a column today exploring whether the superstars will want to play with LeBron. Windhorst got LeBron's former teammate, Kevin Love, to go on the record about the difficulties of playing with James. Here's what Kevin had to say. You have to be resilient. I had a lot of hard nights. There were some dark times, but I always believed you keep fighting. I was stubborn about it, and LeBron makes sure that you have a chance to win every single year. He's got a lot of guys, a lot of rings. Byron, do you think LeBron can attract a superstar this coming offseason?
Absolutely. And again, when I look at LeBron, I think of Magic Johnson. And guys are saying, in this league, it's difficult to play with LeBron James. Why? How? He makes everybody better. He's a willing passer. He's all about the team. Magic Johnson, same thing. So, do I think he can attract a guy? Absolutely. I think there's a free agent superstar that's looking at this Laker team and going to keep their eye on this team the whole season to see how they're doing and see if they can be that final piece to the puzzle to get them to the point where they can challenge Golden State next year. So, I do think, without a shadow of a doubt, that he can attract another superstar to this Los Angeles team.
Me too. Look, this is, like Coach said, man, you're going to be open in ways that you never. Coach, first time you played with Magic Johnson, do you remember the first time you got hit in the head by a ball that you didn't know you were as open?
I never did because I made sure. Hey, look, AC Green got hit in the head because he wasn't watching, but not me. But like you said, he makes your job so much easier. So why wouldn't you want to play with him? Magic Johnson made me where I could just stand in the corner and say, okay, when they double, you just throw it this way, I'll knock it down for you.
And playing with LeBron can escalate your game. Now, I'm not one of the people who thinks that everybody who plays with LeBron gets their game escalated. There are some guys who, it's a tough adjustment.
Right.
Dwayne Wade, George, you know this. It took him about a year to figure out how I need to move off ball.
Right.
Because up to that point, Wade had the ball in his hands every time. If you're a ball-dominant player, there is an adjustment there. But you got to figure out that, look, we're going to go as far as that guy carries us.
Right.
So as talented as Kevin Love is, and I think he took an enormous hit public image-wise in the last 4 years, I still think he's a hell of a talent. But it doesn't matter how talented you are. You're not LeBron James, and so we're going to ride with LeBron over him.
Chris Bosh was another guy who had to adjust his game some, certainly. And Chris became an excellent defender. That was something that he kind of molded into. Right. He wasn't a great defender necessarily in Toronto. Now, we had a graphic up a second ago about the potential free agents that are coming up this offseason. The question is this.
Want that whole top line right
now. But which one of those guys do you think would come? Because look, Jimmy may end up getting traded. Whoever he goes to probably will pay him. I don't see Clay or Kevin leaving. Kawhi, maybe Toronto. We've heard the Clippers. We haven't really heard the Lakers in that discussion. And if they have, they've been a distant third. So where do you go with that money potentially?
That's a tough one because ideally